this series, I go behind the scenes to reveal what a sustainable hotel or lodge looks and feels like. Hi, I'm Rebecca from Kawano Travel, and I'm here at Hotel Outside in East Tyrol, Austria. Surrounded by majestic mountains, we are right in the heart of the national park. Spot the Difference is designed for eco-conscious travellers, travel operators, even travel agents to learn what it takes to be a truly authentic, sustainable stay. Together we're going to go through 9 key criteria from energy, waste, water, biodiversity, even community. There is no stone left unturned. Before we continue, I'd like to mention Weeva, a smart online tool already transforming travel by helping businesses learn, measure and improve their impact. I love how Weeva makes what can often be a confusing and intimidating topic like sustainability approachable and simple. You can find out more at Weeva.Earth. Now, let's get back to Spot the Difference. Travel has the potential to create long-term change, whether that's through experiences that help us reconnect with nature or where cultural stereotypes are challenged. One of the best ways to connect with a destination and create a sense of place is with a locally guided hike. I loved how Hotel Outside offered free nature hikes to every guest. Local guides with over 40 years of experience in these glorious mountains brought invaluable knowledge of the best spots to visit and insights not found online. They were encouraging guests to try something new during their stay, whether that was climbing a mountain or embarking on a snowshoe hike. I couldn't resist stepping into the unknown myself, so I headed out despite the grey weather into the high mountains to join one of the national park guides who was on the lookout for golden eagles and bearded vultures. I learned so much about the ecosystems here, and I met some wonderful, very interesting people who were walking the same route. At the very top, I tried my first local traditional dessert, which is essentially fluffy pancakes. Yum. Walking is one of my favourite forms of slow travel because it's one of the most powerful ways we can connect with a destination and with people around us. Dropping the to-do list and the must-see hotspots for a good old wander is the very essence of sustainable travel. Beyond the guided tours, we also wanted to do some exploring of our own. So Daniel, one of the hotel family members, suggested we visit Umbel Valley and the spectacular waterfalls. So we set the alarm early to ensure we caught a glimpse of the morning sun as it crept into the valley. The natural beauty was striking, and the waterfall platforms along the trail made the hike even more memorable. But the hikes weren't the only way Hotel Outside was helping guests to disconnect and reconnect with what matters most. The wild swimming lake in the hotel garden was my favourite place to spend time. Wild, cold water swims are a real tonic for the body and mind. The key point here is zero chlorine was used in this pool. Natural pools work by mimicking a river or stream environment, utilising a reed bed or biological filters to clean it. They create a much better experience for people and are much kinder to the environment. From red, irritated eyes to dry, brittle hair, the consequences of chlorine in our swimming pools is real. There are more serious health effects to consider as well, considering respiratory illnesses and even cancer. With lower maintenance costs and other incredible benefits, I hope to see many more hotels and lodges incorporate natural pools, saying no to nasty chemicals and chlorine. As well as this, Hotel Outside actively discourage guests from bringing a car to reach these mountains. Instead, they're encouraged to utilise public transport, and every guest is offered a free shuttle service as well as public transport completely free for the area. Unfortunately, we didn't get to utilise this cool incentive as we were driving across Europe across a 3-month period, so we already had our car with us. But I loved how they tried to encourage people to use public transport. Next up, let's talk about one of my favourite topics, food. I loved how this family-run hotel in Austria had retained their long-standing tradition of making their own delicious spreads and storing it in these large reusable jars. I wish it was more common that hotels like this produce their own marmalade, honey, and syrups. Freshly baked breads with local corn, butter, and cottage cream cheese from the region, organic eggs from a local farmer, and regional cheeses. Hotel Outside's cuisine was a celebration of local and regional produce. The experience of both the food and service in the evenings was really good. Every day the menu changed to celebrate seasonal and local dishes, and the vegan and vegetarian option took pride of place on the menu. Despite there being 5 dishes each evening, which may sound overindulgent and greedy, in reality it was a complete opposite. The portion sizes had been carefully thought through to reduce wastage and ensure that we didn't feel stuffed. The portion sizes were perfect, and the pace at which the food arrived was choreographed in a way that made you appreciate and connect with the ingredients. Slowing down lets our brains know to stop eating sooner so we don't overindulge. Hotel Outside was one of the best examples I've seen of mindful eating in a hotel restaurant. With its mountains, many rivers, and high rainfall, hydropower is the backbone of Austria's renewable energy production. In 2001, renewable energy made up 79% of Austria's total electricity generation. Compare that to the UK at just 40%. Austria is now striving for 100% of its electricity to be generated from renewables by 2030, to replace the 21% still generated by fossil fuels. It's worth mentioning that although hydroelectric power is a clean energy, it is still having negative impacts on our environment. A dam and reservoir can change natural water temperatures, water chemistry, and act as a barrier to migratory and resident fish. I first realised this in the book When the Rivers Run Dry, a book I recommend to anybody who wants to better understand the impacts of dams on both environments and communities. Hotel Outside is powered partly by solar energy. I was able to access a view of their rooftop from a side window up in the attic. This clean solar energy produces between 20 to 30% of the energy required each year to power the hotel. So where does the rest come from? Well, Hotel Outside source it from TIWAG, an energy utility owned by the state of Tyrol in Austria, using both solar and hydropower. Their mission, they say, is to provide a secure and sustainable energy supply. I did read in a publication that they're planning to utilise green hydrogen by 2025. But a sustainable strategy is not just about transitioning to clean energy, it's just as much, and arguably more so, about being proactive in reducing. The greenest energy is the energy we don't use in the first place. Hotel Outside used LED lighting. The public areas had light sensors, and their latest investment was an automated system, a smart meter if you like, which basically detected when windows were open and reduced the use of heating by between 20 to 30%. I also noticed that the hotel spa was open for shorter periods to reduce energy usage. How does our trash contribute to climate change? Well, once food waste reaches landfill, it begins to decompose and emit methane gas. Methane has a staggering 21 times the warming potential of carbon. To put this into context, if food waste was a country, it would be the third highest emitter of greenhouse gases after the US and China. Crazy, right? And if we focus in on hospitality, 1 in 6 meals are said to be wasted. 1 in 6. In the Austrian mountains, I loved Hotel Outside's approach to this problem. Reducing portion sizes. Simple yet effective. Smaller portions are proven to significantly reduce waste. This hotel also avoided wasteful buffets in the evenings. Instead, they provided seasonal, daily changing menus, a significant step in reducing food waste. Although Hotel Outside wasn't yet using the power of data with tools like Weeva to inform their decisions, they shared with me how all edible food is either eaten by the staff or any non-edible food wastage was picked up by a private company who created biogas. Daniel, the director of the hotel, showed me back of house to see where the waste was separated how they store food, and how they aim to reduce plastic wastage from suppliers. Great recycling process and system in a hotel is somewhat pointless if the staff don't know how to use it or understand why it's even important. Investing in educational training for a hotel team is a strong signal of an authentic, sustainable stay. Next up, let's talk about the B word, biodiversity, Austria's flora and fauna. Hohe National Park is Austria's oldest national park and one of Europe's largest nature reserves, also home to Hotel Outside, a family-run, sustainable-focused stay. The views and landscapes here were jaw-dropping and at times took my breath away. But this wasn't the whole story. The majority of rivers here are strangled and harnessed to create energy. There are already more than 5,200 hydropower plants in Austria, of which 1,000 are in the area of Tyrol. Conservationists and scientists know that hydropower harms biodiversity. Rewilding Europe, a fantastic organisation that's helping to bring more wild back to Europe, recently reported on a record-breaking year for dam removal, boosting biodiversity. 239 dams were removed in 17 European countries in 2021. It begs the question, should Austria rethink their reliance and further investments in hydropower? Hotel Outside in Tyrol is also a proud member of the national park, and this was another way which they were supporting biodiversity. This membership made possible the work the national park did across education, preservation, and research. I love to see the other ways this hotel was supporting biodiversity within the hotel grounds, right from the natural swimming lake, which was supporting local wildlife, through to planting native plants like Edelweiss. This alpine flower was a little known legend in Austria. It's a symbol of strength, adventure, and courage. How the local community perceive and interact with a hotel, lodge, or resort is a really good indicator of whether that place is getting the responsible tourism balancing act right. If you want to vote with your wallet each time you travel, it's worth asking this very simple question. Is this hotel helping or hurting the local community? Supporting the local economy and keeping money in the destination is a great way for a hotel or lodge to make a positive impact. Hotel Outside displayed local artists and wooden crafts like this in the reception area. A family-run hotel, one evening, the space around us came alive and was transformed by an annual village celebration in which the whole community got involved. It was the first time I'd ever seen groups of locals moving through a hotel, socialising and enjoying food and drinks. So often tourism is viewed as a space to be enjoyed by guests and just something locals have to put up with. This blurring of these boundaries between local people and guests was a beautiful thing to witness. Cleaning guest rooms and hotels without chemicals is not only better for the environment, but also for the health and well-being of the housekeeping staff. Research shows that regular use of traditional chemical cleaning sprays has an impact on lung health comparable with smoking 20 cigarettes a day. A sombering statistic for hotels which still insist on their staff using chemicals, let alone the guests that stay in those hotels that breathe in the same air. Avoiding harmful chemicals protects the air, the soil, and water from unnecessary pollution. So it's really great to see that most of the housekeeping products at Hotel Outside were biodegradable and eco. Although I'd love to say that Hotel Outside was chemical free, I didn't get this impression. Once again, I saw this EU eco-label toiletries. It seems to have made its way into every German and Austrian hotel. As I mentioned in my previous video, I wasn't entirely convinced by these toiletries. Rather than using refillable clay pots, they were plastic. Rather than celebrating a local business, they were steering money back to the big organisation outside of Austria. I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed to see these single-use plastic items in the guest rooms. They were adding no value to the guest experience, and they were not in line with the sustainability ethos of the hotel.
Something that was actually really good that they'd taken away from the room was the water bottles. They had previously had these in the rooms. On top of that, the slippers with the plastic that you wear for the spa. Both of these are out of the room and therefore less waste.
By taking steps to save water, hotels can contribute to the preservation of this precious resource, as well as saving themselves some serious dough. I came across a white paper which stated that the biggest demand of water in hotels is restrooms, laundry, landscaping, and kitchens. So, what was this Alpine hotel in Tyrol, Austria, doing about it? But what I did find out is using aerators in the taps and showers was conserving water. This smart system was promising to save up to 30% of water. How it works is air is mixed with the water, increasing the pressure but reducing the amount of water that's actually used. And last but not least is architecture. With just 40 rooms, this family run hotel was smaller in size to say larger resorts, which is always a great start in terms of lowering the impact. The hotel was constructed in the early 90s, and when spending time with Daniel, the managing director of Hotel Outside, it was very clear his passion was in energy efficiency of a building. Although investments like good insulation and double glazed windows are an initial outlay, long term they are a smart investment, reducing our demand on energy. As I mentioned earlier, the greenest energy is the energy we don't use in the first place. Sustainability is not a destination, but an ever evolving journey. I left Hotel Outside wishing more hotels were run like this, with such care and attention, not just to the guests, but to the environment. Despite Hotel Outside being one of Austria's leading sustainable and regenerative hotels, there's always room for improvement. In the years to come, I'd love to see better tracking, measuring, and reporting, not only to bring about transparency on the hotel's efforts, but to help them make more informed decisions on what to prioritise and invest in as they continue to evolve their sustainability efforts. In the years to come, I'd also love to see more diversity, not just in nature but in the guides. Because although there was this nature-based hikes and it was a great initiative, the guides were both older white men, and I couldn't help but wonder what impact and ripple effect a female guide could have here. How could Hotel Outside develop and train a local girl? By encouraging girls' natural curiosities and cultivating trust in their own physical capabilities, tourism can be this amazing vehicle in which we can motivate women to pursue their passions and, as a consequence, inspire others. And finally, rather than investing in a more impressive swimming pool in the spa, I'd love to see this hotel invest further into community-based tourism. Hotel Outside could redirect this energy and focus for better to connecting guests with authentic cultural experiences, giving more of a voice to their local community when it comes to tourism. With so many of us looking to travel in a more sustainable way, but not really sure how to go about it, I hope these videos help make it easier. Whether you're a family looking for an alpine adventure or you're lucky enough to work within the tourism industry, I'm passionate about shining a light on the people and the places that are leading the way in sustainable travel. Places just like Hotel Outside, who are proof that travel can be a force for good. The cool thing is we all have the power to drive change within the industry. Yes, even you, by simply choosing to vote with your wallet every time you travel and engage in an experience. So my question is, who gets your vote?